welcome to the Be the Ultimate Assistant podcast with Bonnie and Vicki. I'm Vicki Sokol-Evans.
And I'm Bonnie Low-Kramen. Welcome, everyone.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hey, Vicki.
Welcome back.
Thanks. How are you doing?
I'm on cloud nine, I'd have to admit. After that last episode, I'm really excited about hearing from Monique today. How about you?
It's been amazing. So let's just jump in.
Absolutely. So today's focus is all about the partnership that Simon has with his assistant, Monique. And I'd love to introduce Monique to you all. 4 years ago, Monique Helstrom found her place on Simon Sinek's team, claiming the appropriate title of Chief of Simon. She's often referred to as the how girl to the why guy. It's her passion and determination that helps build, organize, and bring to life the bold vision to build a world in which the vast majority of people go home every day feeling fulfilled by their work. With more than 13 years as an event planner and a professional organizer, Monique is there to support all that needs to happen in order for Simon to show up, serve, and inspire others. Welcome, Monique. So Monique was able to join us on episode 1. She was listening to the entire episode, so we're so excited to have her and to hear from her for this episode.
Yes, so welcome back, Simon and Monique.
Thanks, nice to be here.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Monique.
Hi.
Hi. I'm sure you heard the last episode with Simon. You joined us for that one. Yay, great. And it was so great to have him on kind of positioning his work and what he's doing out there in the world. And so, Simon, I want to talk to you about your relationship with Monique. You have been working together for 4 years now. Her title is brilliant. It is Chief of Simon. That's her title. I love it. Who thought of that? Yeah, I love that. Who thought of that? And Simon, what were you looking for in an assistant, and how long did it take you to find her?
Well, she came up with the title because I asked her, what's your job? And she says, well, I'm Chief of You. I said, done, that's your title. So she came up with the title, and it's on her business card and everything. It's not just a joke. It's real. And it took me a while to find Monique. My addiction to assistants started a long time ago. I can't live without someone to help me now. I've really learned to form partnership with somebody where I feel like I'm a team with that person, and I value that team more than anything. But it started a long time ago. When I first decided I needed an assistant, I didn't need somebody full-time, and so I needed somebody part-time. But I took an unusual route. What I did is I would hire actors and dancers, partly because it's my way of giving back to the arts, but actors and dancers need work in which they have freedom and flexibility. They don't necessarily want full-time jobs. But the thing that I learned, especially about dancers, is they have unbelievable discipline. And so I had a lot of really good luck working with people who, when they said they were going to do something, they did it. When they say they were going to show up at a certain time, they always showed up at a certain time. It's because actors and dancers, you have to, especially dancers, it's an art form that requires unbelievable self-discipline. And so they were great assistants. Unfortunately, none of them wanted to do it full-time. This was a part-time gig for all of them. And so I went through a few of them over the course of time, and was in a position where things were just getting busier and busier and busier. And Monique and I had already known each other for a few years, and she had an organizing business. And so I actually called her up and hired her to help me with an organizing job, and she was so good at it. I asked her, do you like running your own business? And she's like, yeah, mixed feelings, it's hard work. I like the organizing, she said. I don't like running a business. I said, I think I may have a solution. You want to come work with me? And I think we had that conversation on a bus.
We
right?
did.
Is that right, Mo?
We did.
So that's how it happened. I hired her on a bus.
Perfect.
So, Simon, but back when you first hired your very first assistant, what was the turning point that made you decide and made you think, I need help here?
So my friend Jack Daly always says, if you don't have an assistant, you are one. And at the end of the day, everybody needs help. Monique needs my help to sometimes get her work done, and I need even more help to get my work done. And so, the word assistant, I think, is unfair, because I think the responsibility of the relationship is that we're helping each other. And what we've done is we've divided up the responsibilities. And my journey was my comfort letting go of stuff. So in the beginning, I would assign tasks, do this, get this done, call this person, right? What I've evolved to is, can you just take care of this? I don't know, just do whatever you want, just take care of that, right? Or even better, Monique will come to me and say, this happened, I already took care of it, just wanted you to be in the loop. Yeah. So and it's because she has a sense of responsibility, and that took time, and it took me getting used to, because, I used to do everything myself, and so I trusted myself to get things done, and it really was an education that I learning to let go of things, and learning that if I trust someone, they'll do a good job, and if I don't trust someone, they actually won't do a good job because they know that I'm just going to swoop in and do it anyway.
Mm. So is there a word you like better than assistant? I know you said you don't think it's fair, but is there a word you like better?
It's not, the reason I don't like the word is I think it's misunderstood. It is true. Monique assists me, but I think that in the vernacular in business, people think of an assistant as someone who's junior, right? And I don't think that's fair. We use the military terminology. In the military, they call each other execs. It's short for executive assistant, but they call them execs. And in the military, if you're a 4-star general, your exec could sometimes be a colonel or a 1-star general. In other words, you have very, very senior leaders who are wing commanders who are now assistants. And they're very often viewed as very important positions, even though you do the calendar and you do the phone calls and the meetings. The reason they're considered important jobs is because they have selected you, an up-and-coming heavy hitter, to assist the 4-star general so that you will have access to the 4-star general and be involved in all the meetings. In other words, all of your top military leaders at some point in their careers were assistants because they only put really, really good talent in those jobs. So I like that model, and so we use the term exec. That, to me, is similar to what they use, and it has the connotation of you're not junior, you're on a path,
Excellent. Cool. It's great to know that. I
love that perspective. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, senior people, colonels, people who run entire bases, or get a job as an assistant, where they sit in a desk outside the office and answer calls, and it's considered a good position because of the access and education you get.
Love it. So tell us, Simon, from your perspective, and I'll also ask you, Monique, what is the day in the life like for you, Simon, and then for you, Monique?
Oh, it's a better question to ask Monique, because because for me, I think everything's easy, and I think everybody's nice, and everything goes perfectly, and because of Monique, I get to walk around with rose-colored glasses, and I show up, and everything's just, wow, I don't know how you complain you have so much work. It seems like everything's so smooth all the time. So I think to ask me, you'll get a completely warped perspective. So I think to get reality, I'll let Monique answer that question.
Hi, Monique.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Well, thank you. So one of the joys of this job is that there is no typical day. We do get to do very, very interesting things, and things are always different and always changing. But I do have 2 somewhat typical days. I travel with Simon everywhere to all of his events and all of his speaking engagements. So I have a speaking or a travel day and a day at home where I actually get stuff done. So a few weeks ago, we had to go to Nashville for an event. I would have strategically packed so that 4 days on the road fits very nicely into a carry-on.
That's one of my rules, by the way. I don't have many rules, but don't travel with me and check luggage. Just don't do it.
That was rule number 1. That was pretty much the only rule he ever gave me was, I will not wait for you if you check a bag. So I schedule our flights. They're already done. I usually like to get in there a couple of minutes before he does, just because he does not require that whatsoever. But I like to be on the ground, making sure that the car service is there, making sure that everything is taken care of, and then he'll get in. We'll get into the car service. I'll usually run down what the events of the day are going to be, where we're going, what we're doing, who we're going to meet. We'll get to some hotel, check in. Everything's already ready and set up. We'll go throw our bags in. We'll usually have anywhere from 1 speaking event to 2 to plus 4 meetings. And as we're on the way to each event, I brief him on what we're doing and where we're going, and he just sort of follows behind me or with me or next to me and sort of just goes where I go, and I point and say, go out on that stage and do this, and now we're going to meet this person.
I carry my brain in a jar because I don't need it when I'm with Monique. I put it in when required when I'm in the meeting, but otherwise I just follow.
And then we will be done our day. Hopefully we'll have some working time together where we'll sit together either over a meal or in the hotel and get some work done, because I will always have a laundry list of things that I have to go over with him. And then we'll go out and sometimes we'll have a dinner on the road, or we'll meet with potential clients or potential friends that we have in any given city, and then we'll come back to the hotel, get ready for bed, and then I usually stay up for anywhere from 1 to 4 hours doing all the work that I didn't get to do that day because I was out running about. So that's typical day, I guess, on the road. When I'm actually in the office and I do work out of my house, I wake up and unfortunately I check my iPhone immediately just to make sure that there's no emergencies. I try to get to the computer pretty early before the phone calls start rolling in so I can go through my email inbox and try and prioritize what I need to get done that day.
About how many do you get a day, Monique?
Phone calls or emails?
Emails.
100, sometimes 200.
That blows my mind.
Depends on the day.
See, you're learning things, Simon.
Oh no, I knew it, but I know it, but it's like she showed me. I'm like, shut up, and then I saw, and that blows my mind how anyone can get as much done as Monique gets done,
yeah,
and have 200 emails.
Yeah, well, in all those emails, I'd say 20 to 30 of them are stuff that people need Simon for. I need a call with Simon. I need a meeting with Simon. I need to talk to Simon. I need a blog from Simon. So I get all those sort of prioritized because I know I'll be talking to him at some point throughout the day. I usually have anywhere from 1 to 4 conference calls with my team. I also help the team on quite a few endeavors, so I'll have a conference call here or there with them or a conference call with an upcoming event. I like to have calls with every event that we're about to do just to make sure that I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and nothing will go wrong when we're on site. Every week I have certain things that I always do. I always confirm on my appointments for the following week. I always make sure the calendar is in order for the following week and or the following month. It's just a lot of phone calls, lots of emails. I'll typically talk to Simon anywhere from 1 to 4 times in a day, and that's about it.
Did you know all of that, Simon?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I'm fully aware of the excruciating amount of effort it requires to make things look easy.
Yeah, to the point where you mentioned that if you don't have an assistant, you are an assistant.
Right.
For those people that don't have an assistant, they're doing all of that she's doing.
They're doing all of that, and it's a question of talents. It's a question of value, which is Monique is the most organized person I know. She is unbelievably good at building a process for something, literally creating a checklist. I fly by the seat of my pants, And so if you ask me to do things that require organization and process, I will fail very, very quickly. And so what we understand is this is a partnership. Monique makes space for me to go do what I'm really good at. At the same time, I make space to leave Monique to do what she's good at. Things that require what I can do, my talents, Monique will call me and say, I need your help on this. And I can swoop in and help her. And so this is why I don't like assistant, because we both assist each other.
So I know Bonnie wants to ask you more about the partnership, but I'm just curious, with all this organization that has to happen, what technology do you both rely on to collaborate and communicate? You can't live without.
Well, honestly, we talk on the phone a lot. I am lucky that I do travel with him everywhere because we work virtual. This job would be very difficult to do if I wasn't with him often. So we're in person with each other a lot, and so we communicate that way. We talk on the phone every day, 1, 2, 3, 4 times a day when we're not together. When we do send emails, we never communicate via email or text. Anything through email or text is an action item, is a You need to do this, I need to do this, can you fill this form out, so on and so forth. But we never communicate via email. Occasionally we'll Skype, but I'd say the good old-fashioned telephone is what we use most.
Mm-hmm.
And we just know this. We've learned this. We know the science behind it, but we also just know it from trial and error, which is backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, 10 emails, 30 emails, and you eventually get on the phone anyway. You know? Yeah. And especially if there's a misunderstanding, there's anger, you know? There's all these miscommunications. So email is great for, like Monique will say, I need you to do this, or I say, hey, can you handle this for me? You know? And so we do things for each other. You know, I need to fill out something that needs to get done, or she needs to book something that needs to get booked, or follow up on something that needs to be followed up. So we're helping each other out. But otherwise, we get on the phone and we go through the week and we go through the day, and she asks me a million questions and I ask her questions. And in 20 minutes, we would get done what would require 100 emails.
Right. So in 4
years. And we've also learned the pattern. So when I first started, we would talk if I wasn't traveling with him every other day or every third day. And then it was an hour of laundry list of things that I had to go over with him, where we, you know, evolved into saying, you know, what might be easier, a 15-minute call once a day, or a 20-minute call once a day, or twice a day. And it's just easier on both of us, and we can both go through the list.
Yeah, the every 2 day or every 3 day hour-long call became work. It became effort for Monique, and it became work for me that we both started to resent. Right. And now we just get on the phone with each other, you know, when we have a thought. And there's not a lot of you know, it's not like, hey, how? It's just like, hey, what's up? I just need to know what's happening on Thursday. Oh, it's 16. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Thanks, bye. Click. You know. Right. But the point is that doing that on a frequent basis, we find it doesn't feel like work, and neither of us are resentful of the hour-long phone call.
Great. So in 4 years, surely there have been those misunderstandings and perhaps a disagreement. How did you navigate those? And did you get that set up front, you know, when you first got together? You know, the bumps in the road, can you take us through, you know, something that... Go ahead.
Yeah, so screaming and yelling, I think. You know, Monique and I both have big, strong, stubborn personalities. And that is really useful when you're on the same page and you want to get things done, and really difficult if you're on different pages. And we both had to learn how to lead. We both had to learn how to deal with each other. Monique learned that when I make a comment about something that I want done differently or I didn't like, it's not an indictment. It's just, can we do it differently? You know, even if it's something that's bad or wrong. Like, I just want to make it better, right? And Monique learned that I'm not attacking her when I make these statements. Mm-hmm. I learned that I have to communicate better, that there are ways to say things that are more productive in how I present them. There's, you know, I found that I was accidentally making accusations, right? Which I wasn't, but it definitely came across that way. Mm-hmm. And so we absolutely, in the early part of our relationship, in the first few months, we had days where we would piss each other off so badly that we would seethe. I mean, seethe. And in the early days, we actually have had screaming and yelling, like brother and sister, like unbelievable. And the thing that was always amazing is nobody quit. I'm sure we both thought about it, but it didn't happen. And there's a deep respect and love we have for each other, that we know that this is a clash, but it's not broken. And so when you say, what about when you have disagreements, or I can honestly say that we used to have them regularly in the early days, mm-hmm. and now we have them rarely these days. And it's because we trust each other. We know that we have each other's best interests at heart. Sometimes we're just tired, and we've both learned empathy, and we've both really practiced very hard at learning how to communicate with each other. Right. So honestly, it's really rare now, and usually, I would say 99 times out of 100, it's because one of us or both of us is very tired because we're on the road, mm-hmm. and we're both aware of it, and somebody will say something that really is like pisses the other person off, and instead of taking the bait, we just both go quiet and just we just let it go, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's you know, it's a marriage. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome, and you know, it's so valuable to hear you both talk it through. because our listeners are not necessarily where you are in their relationships, but this very healthy and strong and mature relationship, it's in motion, it's human, it's living, it's breathing, and you're living it every single day and facing problems and then just navigating them. So that's awesome. So I'd like to ask you both a question. First, Simon, what is your advice to executives who are listening on this call, and what would be your advice to assistants as they work to build the ultimate partnership between one another? And then Monique, I'd love for you to answer that same question, whichever order you want to do it in.
Yeah, you want to go first?
Sure. What I would say to a room full of executives would be two things. Take care of your assistant, and they will take care of you. The more you take care of that person, the more they will want and respect you, that they know that there is real love and trust and respect there. The second thing I would say is the stronger you make your assistant, the more heavy weight they can lift. The stronger meaning coaching, education, courses, anything that would help him or her do better in what they're doing, the more ammunition, the stronger you can make them. It's just like a muscle. The stronger you can make that person, the more they will be able to help and support you. To assistants, I would probably say just something from my own life. I always felt very insecure because I was never the idea person. I was never going to be the CEO, and I knew this very early on in my life. I never came up with the ideas. I could never see the world from 30,000 feet above the clouds. I see life in Excel spreadsheets. And I kind of always felt bad about that. I felt like I was second best until I found Simon, and he was that puzzle piece. I was the how girl that could help the why guy. You know, he always said that the how girl can always get things done, but they won't feel like the work they're doing is bigger than themselves or bigger than the details they're ingrained in. The why guys have this great vision, but without the how girl to get it done, they'll just be drooling in their offices all day. So it's the symbiotic relationship, and you have to own your piece of that puzzle, and even if what you think you do is only the details, without those details, the executive could never do what they're going to do. So don't try to be the other person. Be confident and special in who you are.
As Richard Soul Worman said to me, the angel is in the details.
The angel instead of the devil.
You know, if I was speaking to a room full of executives, I think it's a realignment of your head, which is understand that your exec is someone you work with, not someone who works for you. They don't work for you, they work with you. Mm-hmm. And just understanding that it's a partnership and the value you provide is hard to calculate who offers more value. I'll give you one little example. So at the end of the year, if we have a good year, we will put a pool of money aside for bonuses. And usually what we do is, you know, we sit down and we sort of figure out and divvy it up and who gets what, and that's sort of how we do it. And this last year, we had the pool put aside, and I'm sitting down, and I could not figure out what bonus to give Monique. And so what we decided to do is we divided it evenly. So Monique and I got the exact same bonus because I could not bring myself to say that my work was worth more than Monique's work. You know, my work might be higher profile, my work might be in the public eye, but for me to arbitrarily say that I am worth more and that my work is more valuable is nonsense, because I can tell you that I couldn't do anything that I'm doing if Monique weren't in the shadows in the background making sure that I look good. And so we got the exact same bonus. Monique and I got the exact same bonus, which I'm really proud of, by the way, because that's how we value each other. So one thing is to understand that for an executive to understand that that person works with you, not for you. That's huge. Mm-hmm. They have to be seen as a partner. And like Monique said, give them opportunities to grow and build. Monique can pick and choose things that she wants to go to, and sometimes we suggest that she goes to things. Like she went to a communications class. I took it as well. And she took 3 days off of work, and we sent her to St. Louis to take this amazing communications class with Barry Waymiller, and she was instructed not to check her emails and not to do her work, that we would cover her for her like she's on vacation for 3 days, so that she can go immerse herself and become better at communication, right? So stuff like that. The better that I can make Monique, the stronger I can build her skill set, the more valuable she becomes to me and to the team. So of course. Just like an athlete goes to the gym, then we all have to work out.
Right. And then what
to the executives, to the assistants, to a room full of assistants, I would say that to remember that your job is not there to do stuff. Your job is not even to get stuff done. Your job is to take care of someone. I think the best execs have maternal instincts, where they genuinely, like the best execs I've ever met are people who genuinely care for the person they support. They genuinely want to see that person shine. They have genuine pride when that person is out in public and getting recognition. And just like you see your child in a play, that mother doesn't get the credit, but they glow with pride when they see their son or daughter shine. And the best execs, that's how they are. They get unbelievable joy from seeing the person that they support do well. So remember, you have to take care of a person, which is an important standard. Because no matter how good you are at the work, if you don't like or care about the person, you will fail at that job. And the stress of getting stuff done for someone you don't care for or like is exponentially higher than if you actually did care about them. Like the job of a parent is really hard, but we do it because we love our kids. Well, if you love the person you work with, the work, though it's still difficult, is fine. You know, it becomes intolerable, and the stress becomes intolerable if you don't care about the person.
Wow. Great stuff. Thank you
Great
both.
Perspective. Yes, this is great.
Simon and Monique, how fabulous. Monique, do you have any final thoughts for us? And then Simon, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Monique, anything on your mind that you'd like to leave us with?
Just the reiteration that there has to be trust and love and respect on both sides, and without that, it takes a while to build. One of the reasons that I can do what I do, because I deeply, deeply, deeply respect what Simon is bringing to this world, how he is out there changing the world, and I absolutely love him like he's my brother. So you can work tirelessly for that, and you can work 90-hour work weeks, and I don't even think about it because I know what he's doing is so important to this world. So aligning yourself with someone that you can have that feeling with, I think, is the most important part.
Thank you.
I echo the exact same sentiment from the opposite side of the coin, which is, I care about Monique like a sister, and we have many examples of people who are abusive to Monique in email or in phone calls, and it's a very simple decision for me, which is if you abuse Monique, you're abusing me, and I don't want to work with people who abuse me. So people who abuse Monique or speak down to her or treat her like dirt, we don't work with them. I don't care how talented, I don't care how smart, I don't care how the opportunities, I don't care how much money they're offering. You abuse Monique, it's the same as you abusing me. It's like you attack my brother, you attack my sister, you got to go through me. So we're very, very protective of each other, and it makes for a really great relationship. And it didn't happen overnight. It took time.
Yeah.
It's a relationship like any other relationship, and the trust is earned on both sides.
And can I just close with what we opened up with in our first episode, what's on your homepage? Imagine a world where people wake up inspired to go to work. Imagine a world where we feel safe at work. Imagine a world in which trust and loyalty are the rules and not the exception. And the two of you, this resonates with everyone, and you guys are a great example of this, what's happening on your team. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for giving us an opportunity to share with people what's possible. I think the kind of relationship that Monique and I have, people think is fictional. It's fine to read in a book, but we worked very, very hard. This wasn't not because we're both naturally good at this. Like, we worked very, very hard to build this relationship, and it requires daily effort. and we treat it like a loving relationship, and so the benefits of the loving relationship are the same.
Right. Well, we're so grateful for your time, and we thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
Vicki. Bye, Simon. Bye, Monique.
Bye.
Bye.
John.
Thank you
Okay, wonderful.
so much.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
So for everyone listening, we want you to know that we're interested in knowing about all the great relationships that exist between managers and assistants out there. So if you are an assistant listening, please let us know. We'd be very interested in interviewing you. And same goes for the managers and executives listening. So give us a shout. Reach out via betheultimateassistant.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you once again to our guests, Simon Sinek and Monique Helstrom, and to you for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye, Bonnie.
Bye, Vicki. Bye, everyone.